Hi there, gorgeous. This is Nicole Elissa, transformational and intuitive love coach for amazing trailblazer women and leaders from all over the world. I am excited to be with you here today. In today's video, we are going to continue the conversation on how to attract real love, even if you face narcissism or if you felt unprotected as a woman or as a girl growing up. It is your right to have amazing love, no matter what sort of circumstance you've lived or attracted in your life. And as an intuitive and transformational love coach, not only do I work with women on an emotional level, I can also see and pick up their energies. What are the things that are kind of like, not kind of, I don't want to make this conversation trivial. I see what is blocking you and how you can really raise your vibration or open it up so that you can attract love no matter what. So if you're new to my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and you get the notification for my next videos on how to attract your real amazing love and also to feel really confident about who you are as a woman. You might be surprised, but a lot of powerful women that are doing a lot of things out there in the world can also sort of sometimes struggle with insecurity. And it's not an easy conversation to have. I think it's important to have. And my goal is to make it an easy conversation to have so that you feel good about having this conversation. Why is this important? Because many of us, we've grown up with, a certain type of abuse in our household or around us. And we've made it, we've made it financially, we've made it in many different ways. But still, there's like a little thing going on within us where you are wondering, like, why isn't love working out for you? Well, it's because you've developed certain mechanisms, defense mechanisms, coping mechanisms, to sort of keep yourself going or surviving, no matter, even if you're thriving in other areas of your life. And it's important to start to soften that energy up, help it really open up or shift or transform so that you feel really empowered in your love life and also safe. So what's interesting about attracting love, and if you've experienced narcissism in your life, even growing up, number one, it's important to really get that. Chances are you were probably some sort of like scapegoat, right? In your family, because when you're intuitive and you're conscious and you're growing up in a family like this, you feel attacked or hurt all the time, or where you are accused or blamed with things that are not even your fault. You feel wronged all the time, and somehow you start wondering, like, is there something wrong with me, right? Or you find yourself sort of like running away from that family dynamic. But you might still sometimes doubt whether there's something wrong with you, like why love is not working out. For me, at first, I used to either shove it down and focus at work. But I remember that the biggest and the most beautiful gift that somebody ever told me was the time when I heard, Nicole, like, if you don't tend to work on your love life, if you don't really put conscious awareness, not just awareness, like really work on it, figure out what's happening there, you might repeat the same patterns and mistakes that your parents did. And that, for me, let me tell you, was like a bucket of cold water. I was going to say I hate cold water. It was the worst thing ever. But one of the things that really saved me was the fact that I understood personal responsibility. I understood that something needed to change and needed to be because of me. And one of the things that baffles me, like completely baffles me, but it doesn't baffle me anymore. It used to baffle me, where a lot of people, it's like they stay in a state of shock when it comes to their love life. Like we understand that we need to work in all other areas of our life to achieve something, to get something, right? But when it comes to love, we assume that love should just happen naturally. Well, love is meant to happen naturally. The thing about love is if you've been attacked, wronged by your closest loved ones, even growing up, you have to really get that somewhere love did not feel safe. Now, ladies, I want to really make a disclaimer here. I know that you're here because you want love. So even if you feel fear or if you're nodding along about love didn't really feel safe growing up, please always remember the goal, like your goal, like you want to have love, right? You are strong and a capable woman. And what happens is that many women build up walls to attract love because love didn't feel safe. So here's the thing about this. I'm going to go metaphysical, esoteric, spiritual. I'm going to go scientific on you in many different angles now. But here's what I want to invite you to really become aware, to sort of get. One of the grips that I have found over the years about being a transformational love coach is that I found myself feeling like I needed to talk about how to be an irresistible woman, how to be, an attractive woman, how to be talk about sexiness, talk about all these things. And I would see that a lot of people would feel like, believe that if only they're sexier, if only they have a better image, if only they have like a better, amount of money in their bank account, then they're going to be good enough. And honestly, it became really draining and exhausting for me because that's not the thing. Like, if you feel like you need to compete to have this spotlight on you to have love, then that means to me that somewhere you're still operating under fears and illusions that you're not good enough. I would rather be real. I always, even though I have my program Goddess of Love, and I do believe that a woman is a goddess, I believe we radiate so much light and love. I do believe that it takes maturity and responsibility to do work when it comes to love and commitment. And you have to be like, I am very serious about this because love is the most important thing for me that there is and on the planet. It is the area where I feel like there is one of the biggest areas where there's the most amount of irresponsibility ever. And one of the things that is really going to get you love, if you felt that you were the scapegoat, or you were like the victim of narcissistic families or experiences, is responsibility. You want to first start really opening up again your heart, releasing all the pain, all the accusations, all of the shame, all of the blame that you might have taken on that was never yours. So when we are as souls, right, when we look at things, is that one of the things that I learned is that our soul seeks to expand. We want more out of life. It's natural in us that that tendency to want to grow, to want to expand, to have more love, right? So what's interesting is that over time, if you experience some sort of level of either trauma or resistance or fear, sometimes we respond in our defense mechanisms, whether it's like flight, freeze, fawn, or flight, freeze, fight, or fawn. And when we respond in those ways, and I have another video about this, and I will definitely put that in the link below, like in the description below. It is very important as women, like, we need to feel safe to attract love. Okay, it is one of the most important things that there is. So when we've had a lot of fear, like, you're sort of tense, you're like, you don't know what's going to happen, because you might have not noticed, but it's like you might have grown up in an environment where adults make you responsible for them when you were a kid, right? And you don't really get why that's not a good thing, or that shouldn't be happening. So you find yourself either being accused, criticized so much that you start to feel hurt in your being. So you freeze that energy up, defense mechanism, or you're going to flight, or you're just not there. You try to focus on work, or you become really angry or righteous about all the injustice that's happening, and why men are this, why women are the other, why it's best if you're just like the most like independent woman in the world. Here's what's happening about that. When we have fear or even trauma stuck in our system about these things, here's what I noticed. As souls, we want to expand. But when we have trauma, it's like we have to understand it's like a part of us, or trauma or pain or something about this. It's like a part of us is stuck in time, meaning we're not moving. We're not opening up. We're not fully expanding or allowing more love, more joy in our being to the level that we want to. So it's like whenever you want to move forward, there's a part of you that's stuck in time, fearful that what you experience is going to happen again, right? So why I say responsibility is the biggest thing. And, I might be, I'm not going to call myself I was going to call myself like the most like boring love coach out there, because I'm not presenting to you all these things. I believe that we are all of that. And I believe that it speaks for itself, that I don't need to sell you with, you have to be the most grandiose woman in the world for you to really get this work. And why do I do that? Because we need to, like, you need to do your work. Like, I've had to do it. I've had to do it, you know, and it's like, I don't want to lie to people. I want to offer real solutions, no matter how long it takes. But what you need to find the most first and foremost is yourself. That spirit within you that knows that you are capable of doing this work and committing to doing the work no matter what, for you. And a lot of people, like, I believe that my seriousness about this is quite lovable. It's totally lovable. And it's totally right, because I don't like to sugarcoat things, right? So what happens is that when you're doing this and you've been the scapegoat all the time, your energy is trying to protect yourself from love. The energy that's stuck, it starts to assume like the same negativity from people. Like, you start experiencing it, you know, you start expecting it, and then you start experiencing it. Why does this consistently happen to you in your life? Instead of, like, if you're the successful woman that is really working in her career or in her business or whatever, you know, I've worked with, you know, many women in different fields who really rock it, right? The thing about this is that instead of actually seeing the negativity and believing, see, this is the reason why I don't do it, or just occasionally doing some sort of healing work here or there, or maybe, you know, contacting somebody to like read you cards, or like just in the moment, all of that is good. Like, do whatever you feel like is right for you. Like, I'm not going to tell you what to do and what not to do. But here's the thing, that moment where you receive like that feedback from, you know, spiritual counselor or somebody in general, like, all of that is value. I'm not going to knock on anything, because I have, like, you know, people that I consult that I value very much, and I don't know what I would do without them in my life. The thing about this is that when you receive that and you just sit back and you wait, that part of you, like, you need to awaken. You need to know that it's in your power to attract more. So I invite you to be responsible over your love life. You know, I think I use my own flight or flight response, which was to run, not to just run away from the chaotic family dynamic that I grew up in. Was that when somebody, you know, threw that bucket of cold water at me, when they said that if you don't change, Nicole, if you're like just thinking that things are just going to randomly, like somebody, Prince Charming is going to come in, if you don't really look and find out what is really happening, then you might attract like the same mistakes. And what I did, what that awoke within me was like, oh my God, no way. I have to find out what it is, what's going on. And I have to be committed to it. And you've seen, I've turned this into, you know, like it's who I am. And I was going to say my life. And I was going to say, well, some people are going to interpret that incorrectly, but no, it's the truth, is my life. Like, love is my life. Because I understand the power within that. So what happens is, ladies, if you are cultivating negative thoughts about men, negative thoughts about relationships, if you're not feeling fully safe, if you've done a healing session here or there, or you've consulted like a spiritual, you know, like a counselor or something like that, and things haven't really changed, you have to keep on going. You have to take that responsibility to see like, hey, what's happening there? So I use my run mechanism. I am responsible. Do you know the amount of healers that I worked with at the beginning who told me, Nicole, like, the healing is complete, but I felt like it wasn't. So therefore I continued. So I therefore, like I said, I continued. And it's not that it's like, you have to understand, coach, healer, person who can clear your energy, spiritual counselor, tarot reader, anything like that. Nobody is responsible for you, right? They can give you what they can see in any given, you know, space that you guys are working on. But the thing is, you have to be responsible, and your vision for love needs to be the clearest thing that you have. You need to cultivate it every day, and then you need to be humble enough to do the work that is necessary for it, without complaining, without crying about it, without being a baby about it, right? Because I know that's like an ouch, but because how do I say this? It's not like, um, why I'm going to address the baby piece because I feel like it's actually quite important. Those that work with me know that I'm actually quite loving with my clients. And at the same time, I tell them the truth. Now, what I notice too sometimes is that because there was like a lack of love growing up, that a lot of us felt, it can translate into having that sort of energy still showing up when you are trying to like do it, and when you start either getting upset about why you have to do this work or throwing a tantrum about it, right, then you're being a baby, you're not being an adult about it, right? We're not responsible for where we grew up or what, how, you know, how things happen when we're growing up, but we sure are responsible for changing things around. So what happens is that when we accumulate that fear, we become like, I see like a lack of elasticity within us. We are changed. We're meant to be constantly changing, like our cells are constantly growing, evolving, you know, like changing. And we need to remember that we're meant to be that change, that open energy. And when we have that accumulated fear, we kind of like become stuck or we judge ourselves, but also we need to really be open to really clearing and releasing whatever pain is there, right? What this does, and it helps you own your power in the area of love. And what's funny, and what I'm getting as an intuitive love coach, what I'm getting is a lot of you don't want to be feared. This is a very interesting angle that I'm getting, right? Because when you were growing up and you could see the truth about what was going on around you, and your parents could tell, people around you could tell, they didn't like you for it, right? So what happens is that you fear that you're going to be feared, which is interesting, or you stop yourself in because you feel like you're going to be feared, whether it is by your loved ones again. If you attract your man into your life, you have a fear that your man is going to fear you for how powerful you are, for how clear you are, for how clear you can see things. And then you wonder, can I attract the man that can, you know, not I hear not operate at a BS level like with me, like, because what I'm getting is that this video is for women who want something like really rich and deep. So you have the power to attract it. You have to decide it. Now, what helps you strengthen your power truly and effectively bring in what you want and not what you fear is clearing your resistance, clearing the fears. I used to say face your fears, but I don't like that energy anymore. It's more so first clear your fears so that you don't expect to attract them anymore. You're not allowing yourself to attract them, which is the most important piece, because you're commanding more presence within your being. Some of you feel like if you command more presence within your being because you're really successful and you feel like people want you just because of for what you bring to the table, you feel like that's going to separate you from even more people. So you start to settle, or you start being in this lull because you feel like the people around you are not going to want to see you grow, right? But that is not the truth. You have to work on releasing those fears, right? Fears of being blamed, being a scapegoat again, a man being jealous of your success, somebody not being able to witness or hold or love your sensitivity, your magical nature as a feminine woman, your softness, right? So I would say that you have to release those fears and even the pain from your heart so that you allow yourself to have love. How do we do this? Well, I'm very grateful for like I said, the capacity in me that I had to run. Because for me, it was like, I gotta have answers. Like I use all my energy to like, but I don't want to have regular answers. Like I want to have like the right answers, right? So what that meant for me was like, I'm going to clear myself at every level possible. And for some people, it's easier. Some people might have done like one healing session, one meditation, or a few months meditation or something like that, or clearings or a coaching group and it worked. But for those that it really hasn't fully, it's not on you. It's nothing wrong. Like we've all experienced some sort of level, like some of us like have experienced some level of abuse in our lives. And what happens is that you're not, A part of you needs to allow this energy to be released. You are not just a body, right? You are a soul. And with that, I've seen so many, because I'm an intuitive coach, right? So when I look intuitively into a person's energy, sometimes for some people, so for some women, I notice that their energy is like super tight. Some women took on the energy of hiding the truth to themselves because they don't want to be disappointed. They don't want to lose more people. So you see how the mind is in a state of like, if I grow, if I expand, if I allow myself to expand, like the love might not be real. I might lose it, right? But that like stressed energy that you have within you, what happens basically is that you hide the energy, right? So you want to be truthful for yourself. You want to do the work however long it takes for you. You want to really instill that sensation of safety. And it's important to know, I feel like this is for the curious people out there, it's important to know what thoughts or ideas you are really vibrating or sending out in your energy. It's not just what's in your conscious mind. So ladies, if you've been like the scapegoat, if you've been hurt, it's important, number one, for you to be responsible. Please understand that the responsibility is like one of the greatest responsibilities that you will have in your life. I find it that one of the reasons why there's so many people, I personally think, this is my personal opinion, you don't need to take this as truth, I feel like when we look at people who don't want to take responsibility for themselves or the actions that they do at all, like we normally think about narcissists, right? So, but I feel like one of the things that rules narcissists a lot is shame. So part of the society, and it's one of the trickiest egos, like the trickiest, one of the trickiest tricks of the ego, I guess, where there's like this sort of subtle energy about doing this work, your love life. You need to get rid of that shame. You need to get rid of that shame now. You know, when I first started doing this work on love, I necessarily didn't have shame sharing it with my girlfriends or anything like that. But as long as that shame is ruling you, you stop your growth. You stop your learning. It's like a filter to your receiving. So ladies, one of the first things that you got to do as well is release that shame from the get-go. You are a lovable human being. You're a lovable soul that deserves love, and you need to be brave. I promise you that you're not going to be alone. You just need to own your power to attract the right people and know how to do that effectively, okay? So don't let fear get in your way, right? Trust yourself. Trust yourself, and trust in doing this work. You are responsible, okay? You are responsible. It's not the coach, it's not the healer, it's not whoever. We are here to help you, right? We are here to assist you. But what I see that most people are doing is that they go to these people, they go to like, you know, just as a spectator, or just like, okay, this is what this person said to me, and that's it. No, you are powerful. If you need help, look for that help, right? If you want somebody to really help you through that, I hear crusade, like just go ahead and do that. But you have to help yourself. You have to be like the own hero in your life and show up for that love life, not just for making it in like business wise, but for that love life. Because when you show up for yourself in that way, nobody can tell you what you can or cannot attract in your life, right? I was seeing somebody saying that love cannot be guaranteed, and I was like, that's not true. That's not true. Your blessings are guaranteed. You need to show up for them. We must expect to receive at all times. We cannot be giving and giving and not expect to receive. It's law. It's law of life. Your blessings are guaranteed if you show up for them, if you show up for them correctly, and if you love yourself through it all, right? So that's what I invite you to do, because I know that when we've been the scapegoat, like I really was, it was horrible. Like I was programmed from a very early age to not allow myself to truly shine. Like there was this episode where I won like the highest grade in the school, and everybody else failed. Imagine like thousands or hundreds of kids failing and you being the highest grade. Like I, I got the highest grade possible. Like I exceeded like all expectations. I had no wrong answers. As a kid, I was like 8, and the whole school was placed with the same exam, and I won. And from there, like I was attacked by so many people because I was like, they were like, she doesn't deserve that. She doesn't deserve that because, you know, like my kid didn't get it. Like, how come she did it? Like so much negativity from adults, from kids around me, people trying to play tricks on me or traps, like trying to make me look bad, like the bad person, having kids, parents envy me. From a very early age, I was scared of opening up, right? After that experience, I started failing because I didn't want to be seen. Same thing applies into love, right? So I say this because you deserve love. And you get to program in that energy of safety within you to attract it. And I invite you to always be curious about attracting love. Be curious. Have an open mind. Don't assume. Even though I am intuitive, one of the things that helps me be intuitive is to get the logic out of things and to know that I don't know it all. I do not know it all. I get to be curious. I'm curious, always curious to know more. Because I'm always passionate about truth, right? But some of us, because when we knew the truth as kids, it wasn't safe to know the truth because it meant we felt fear of losing people. So we shut down emotional. But ladies, you have to do your work to open up, to attract real, safe, conscious love. So this was a video for today. You got to practice and, you know, really embody that safety. Do your work. Don't just sit and wait. Like, be the woman that does the work. Use that same energy that you brought into to the other areas where you're successful, that curiosity, that willingness to adapt, to own things, to grow into your love life, and be curious. Don't let shame get in the way for you. If you're curious to know how I can help you, I have a program called my signature program, Goddess of Love, where you really own your goddessness from the inside out, and you take responsibility and you embody clearing, true self-worth, and really opening up to the love that is really safe for you. You get to have people who really get you, people who are compatible to you, kind of like your soul group in a way. So that is very important. It's very important. So if you're curious about that program, I'm going to put the link below so you can talk with me privately, and I'm going to share with you what I'm seeing and where we can go with it next. Goddess of Love, it is a high level, you know, investment, just so that you know. It's part of like my deepest work possible, where my offerings, where I'm really there to help my clients really get through. So if you're curious about that one, my program, let me know, set up the call. And if there's any other things that you'd like to hear from me, please let me know. Love is important. And like I said, it's my life. I've been studying it for years, every single day. And I've really seen things really happen miraculously for people when they show up, okay? And you deserve love no matter what you've experienced in your life. Take care.